So John Lewis came out today and in support of Joe Biden. Expected. I mean, at this point, I'm not even making this video to attack him, because at this point, everybody's endorsing Joe Biden. I'll expect an endorsement from Elizabeth Warren coming in the next few weeks. I mean, everybody's endorsing Joe Biden. I ain't even that mad at John Lewis. John Lewis is a civil rights legend, by the way. I don't know how you don't know John Lewis, but if you don't, he's a civil rights legend. Coordinated with Dr. Martin Luther King during the civil rights movement, led the SNCC, I think the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, was huge in organizations, things like that. John Lewis is also part of my city. I'm from Atlanta. He's huge in our city, just in terms of his activism and his support for our community. He's our congressman, U.S. congressman. So, I have a lot of respect for John Lewis, and I'm not making this video to attack him. But his endorsement reminded me of my problem with black leaders. I have a huge problem with black leaders. I do. And this is something that I just have a whole problem with the old black guard in general. Kind of older black voters and older black leaders who have become very conciliatory with the establishment, who have become very complacent, who understand all the problems that we're facing. Mass incarceration, police brutality, economic oppression, political oppression. But instead of directly striking back against it boldly and aggressively, they compromise. They wimp out time after time after time. And I think that Jim Clyburn's endorsement of Joe Biden, John Lewis's eventual endorsement of Joe Biden, and this black leaders' history of doing such things, it shows how they failed us. And they've sold us out time after time after time. And it's disgusting to see, man. I don't remember a high-profile... before I get into all that, Barack Obama, black leader, sold us out. Perfect example. I can't believe I was about to do this video without mentioning Barack Obama. Barack Obama, perfect example. But also, again, John Lewis, Jim Clyburn, all of these black leaders. History of compromise and not really wanting to be a progressive. Compromising to whatever the system is giving them, no matter how corrupt and disastrous that system is. And perfect examples of that. We can go back down into the Barack Obama presidency, right? This is supposed to be the great shining hope of the black community. Barack Obama, black people came out in droves for Obama. People who, had no interest in voting before, when they saw a black man on the TV screen, dude, it was huge. It was huge for black people, man. You see somebody that looks like you, people didn't think it was possible. White people didn't think it was possible. Black people didn't think it was possible to have a black president. People who cared about him and loved him and came out and voted for him and then whooped John McCain's ass. They didn't think it was possible. He was the great black hope. And he gets into the White House. I watched his inauguration, man, in the first grade. In the first grade when I was 6 or 7 years old. Yeah, 6 years old. And my teacher was crying, man. Teacher was crying. My mom was crying. So many black people were crying. Black people at the inauguration were crying. Everybody was just like, oh my God. It's a great black hope, right? And he gets into office. And he sells us out. And in the war on drugs, no. Cuts taxes for the rich. Makes deals cutting taxes for the rich. But when it comes to funding education programs that send investment directly into our communities and directly into minority communities overall, when it comes to taking the money from the huge corporations and the rich who are not paying their fair share of taxes, when it comes to regulating them and holding their feet to the fire, when it comes to making sure that we have investment on education, on healthcare, ending the war on drugs, nope. Barack Obama wasn't there. Barack Obama wasn't there. And when it came to leaders, right, all the black leaders who ended up getting into Congress, whether it be John Lewis, whether it be Jim Clyburn, they ain't progressive. Hell no, they ain't no progressive. You see John Lewis and Jim Clyburn out here calling for Medicare for all, tuition-free college, progressive legislation that would directly impact minority communities in an amazing way, bringing jobs and investment right back into our communities when all of our kids can go to college free of charge, When all of our parents don't have to worry about bankrupting themselves, paying for their children's health care, paying for their own health care. That saves families, that saves lives, that saves our communities. But were they out here calling for that? No, because that's not where the political winds were blowing. It wasn't easy. That wasn't the way out. That wasn't the compromise. So they went along with the system. They went along with the norm. They did it under Clinton. They did it under Bush. They did it under Obama. And they've largely done it under Trump. You know, it's nice and easy in the mainstream media now. It's very popular now to be very opposed to Donald Trump. But when it came to Democratic leaders and even the Republican leaders who sold us out time after time after time, where were they? Where were they calling for bold and progressive legislation, bold and progressive action? We would have supported them. All the old black guard, all the older black voters would have supported them too. But nah, that's not where they led us. They're supposed to be our leaders, right? They led us right down the path that continued to oppress our communities. When it came to education, when it came to healthcare, when it came to mass incarceration, families continued to be destroyed. Millions of our black young men continue to be thrown into jail, harassed and harmed by the police. Where were they? Where were they in the TV, on the radio, in the streets, leading protests, leading demonstrations against those types of actions? Where were they? I would have come out. Plenty of kids would have came out. Plenty of older black voters would have came out. Whole community would have came out in support of that type of stuff. But where were they? Where were they? Where was Obama? They weren't there. They keep selling us out, man. And it's scary to see. It's really sad to see. Because who is going to be there if our own leaders won't be there for us? Trump don't care. Trump don't care. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, they don't care about health care. They don't care about education. They don't care about making sure your kid has a chance. They don't care about that. None of them people care. The establishment Democrats don't care. Republicans sure as hell don't care. And the only candidate who really gave a damn, y'all voted him out. It's scary to see, because if our own leaders won't care, who will? And that's John Lewis's endorsement just reminded me of all that, man. I just wanted to talk about that today. I want black people to understand the reality of the situation. It doesn't matter how corrupt the system is. It doesn't matter how much change they promise you, how many empty quotes and empty lies they throw at you, whether that be Joe Biden, Barack Obama, all these establishment politicians who we keep voting for and against our interests. Doesn't matter. If you don't stand for something, stand on your principles and stand up for our communities in a bold and courageous way, we will never see the change that we need to see in our communities. Our kids will keep going to failing schools. Parents will keep going bankrupt trying to pay for healthcare costs. These kids will continue to grow up in broken households and be thrown into jail because the system is literally out to get them. And it's going to continue on as a vicious cycle forever and ever and ever in these communities until our leaders, and if the leaders won't, we have the guts to say, enough is enough. We're going to stand up and fight for our rights. We're going to stand up and fight on all the issues that directly impact us: education, healthcare, and investment in terms of jobs and mass incarceration, so that we are no longer the disadvantaged, oppressed minority. We have just enough of a chance and a fighting chance in America to see prosperity for all of our kids and all of our people. It's going to take bold action. It's going to take courageousness. It's going to take stop voting for the people who promise the half measure. Oh, we got to be pragmatic. People come out in droves for those types of politicians, bro. Hillary Clinton, perfect example. Bill Clinton, Obama. He didn't deserve our vote. Somebody should have primaried his ass in 2008 and 2012. He didn't deserve our vote. He didn't really earn our vote. Joe Biden sure as hell didn't earn our vote. These people don't earn our vote, so stop giving it to them. And if the black leaders won't lead us in the direction that we need to go down, stop letting them lead us. Vote their ass out so we can get somebody in there who wants to see us be the community that I know we can be, that we all know we can be. We can put the ills of our past behind us and build a better future.
Riding, yeah, you know we vibing, bitch, we just live.